All right. We've got our player list, and we are ready to do pairings. So just to reiterate what this tournament looks like, if you go back to setup and go to tournament setup and tools, you'll see that this is a game 30 tournament. The open section, if we click tournament at a glance, it'll tell us, wow, this is a really nice feature. It'll tell us that there are 11 players. There are 4 rounds. 10 of them will be active in the next round because one of them will get a bye. And then it will tell us if we've input the fees and stuff. I'll leave that for a separate video later on. How to determine what the prizes would be. So this is the tournament glances. It's really nice. Okay, so we know basically how this works. I'm going to hit done. And now I want to pair. So I'm going to go to pairings. And I'm going to go to pair next round. So in this little dialog here, the pairing rules, it just lets you know that there are, it's using USCF rules here. There are some restrictions you could put in play. So for example, if this was a team tournament, one of the things you can do in a player dialog is list the team they're on. So you could put Nick LaCroix as being on team Husker. And we're going to start a new team, sure. And then let's say Arena Crush is also on team Husker because she loves the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I mean, maybe she does. We have no way of knowing. So she's on that team. According to the pairing options here, we could do it so that they would not play each other. This is a nice feature also if you're running a friendly sort of event and you don't want to pair siblings against each other. You can do this. It's not really against the rules, and SwissSys will, depending on how you have it, if you have the strict restriction here, it'll really try not to pair teams. You can do the soft try to avoid field so that, like, if you have brothers playing against each other or sisters playing against each other, it could try to avoid them so long as the pairings remain legal otherwise. So this is a pretty nice thing to have. Basically, though, to do a pairing, all you really need to do is go to pair next round, make sure this is the way you want it to be. The coin toss will be, as it says here, you just leave it as the standard thing because it'll let SwissSys choose who gets white on first board, and you hit OK. You get the pairing set up. Now, if you wanted to manually do pairings, you could do this here. There is a way for you to force certain pairings, but for just about everything else that you're going to want to do, you just hit OK. And the dialog will come up, and we have our first pairing for the first round of the Jack Spence Fantasy Chess Open. So let's see. So Steve Kusumano and Carlson, Crush and Slaminski, Forsman and Foyser, Watson, Hartman, that'll obviously be a draw, Mills and LaCroix. And then Suresh gets the bye because he requested, if you remember. If we go back and you can see here he requested a bye in the first round. So we've done our pairings, and once you have the games done, you can go back to this thing with F8 and enter the pairings. Now there's a couple ways to do this. You can enter it with a keyboard here with a W for a win, a D for a draw, an L for a loss. You can see this here. If you're doing a blitz double round robin, you might use some of these other options, and I suspect they would come up if we did the double. But let's just say it's draws all around. No, let's not. Let's say Steve Kusumano upsets Magnus Carlsen because he was wearing a watch. I didn't say that, did I? The result has changed. Let's proceed. It's a draw between Crush and Slaminski. Forsman loses to Foyser, so I'm going to type an L, and that'll be an L for Foyser, a win for an L for Forsman, a win for Foyser. John Watson graciously gives me a draw, and Michael Mills and Nick LaCroix. Michael Mills has the upset victory. So we've got our results. We've typed them in. We hit OK. And then you can see that it's reflected here on the cross table. Magnus takes the L in round 1. Surprising, but it could happen. And once we have this, and once we're happy that they're correct, we can pair the next round. So if you go back to pairings, you can hit pair next round, and we go back to the same dialogue we just had. There's nothing for us to do manually. There's no forced buys. So I'm just going to hit OK to pair. And we see that, okay, we have our pairings, Foyser to Cusimano, Crush Mills, Slaminski Watson, Hartman Suresh, Carlson LaCroix. Forsman has the bye. One thing to remember here is that you can also now that you know Chad has the bye, let's say you had a house player who was willing to play against him. So you could go into filler and enter Chad here. And let's say we had a house player. Our house player is going to be my friend Luke Henkin. So Luke is our house player. He's going to play a filler game. And now they're both here in the filler section. So to do this, quite often if you have a filler game, you might tell the players to flip for colors. The easiest way to do that is to have them flip for colors, write it down on the pairing sheet when they're done. And then when you go in here, you can sort of add, let's say Henkin had white, Forsman had black, board number 1, and it will have this here forced. So let's say they played to a draw. Later on, when you submit the rating report, and I'll show you how to do that in a different video, this will show up as a separate section with a game between Forsman and Henkin completely ready to rate. Okay, we're going to do one more round of pairings here, and then I'm going to stop and make the next video. So let's say Cusimano continues his rampage, beats Foyser. Crush takes her revenge on Mike Mills, wins. Slaminski and Watson, it's a win for Watson, so I'm going to type an L here. By the way, if you click over on this one, you could also, let's say Suresh beats Hartman, so Suresh, you type a W, he gets the win. And Carlson LaCroix, we're going to call it a draw. Forsman has the bye. And again, we update this, and as the pairings, the results come in, the cross table updates as well. By the way, there's a couple different views here you have for the cross table. You can do a standings view, and you can print this as well. This is good if you just want to put a standing sheet out with the pairings each round. Later on, when people are thinking about class prizes, they probably will want to see the wall chart. So this is a nice way to print it out for them when you print out the pairings. This little print dialog here. And yeah, people can see where they stand for like an under 1900 prize or something like that. All right, in the next video, I'm going to have finished this tournament out, and I'm going to show you how to rate it.